Greetings, friends. This is Salt City Counseling. If you're new here, my name is Scott. I am a licensed therapist here in the beautiful state of Utah. In this video, I'm going to discuss an issue that probably just doesn't get enough attention. There are a lot of things that don't get enough attention. Seems like in this crazy world that we live in, there are a lot of things that get our attention and probably shouldn't. And a lot of things that need our attention and just don't get it. And I feel like this is one of those things. I'm going to talk about how we need to find a way to pry social media away from teenagers. We've basically kind of let the monster out of the box. We opened Pandora's box, and we're going to have to try and get the SHIT back into the horse with this one. The social media effect on kids is really, really not so good. And I think it's time, perhaps, that people like me spend a little bit more time talking about it and trying to bring attention to this issue, and just insist that if you want a happy, healthy teenager, they need to not have access to social media. And I want to be really clear. I think it's really most important that they don't have access to social media on a smartphone. I think kids should not have smartphones. But again, we've opened Pandora's box. Hard to put toothpaste back into the tube. But I think we need to start having these conversations now and give it more attention now, and put our efforts into start leaning towards the idea that kids should not have access to social media. I don't think they should have access to content websites on their phones either. To me, it's like if they want content websites, they can use a computer. If they want YouTube or TikTok, they can do it on the computer. And the reason being is that it's really bad for their mental health. And we know this. The studies have been done. The data shows it. It's no secret. And it's just not talked about enough. I recently kind of went through most of the book, Abigail Schreier's book on bad therapy. She has a lot of criticisms for therapy and therapists, and I'm pretty sure she hates therapists. She hates us, and she hates therapy, and but that doesn't mean that her gripes aren't valid, that she doesn't have some good gripes, because she does. She has some really solid arguments. So, but one of those is that the mental health industry is relatively quiet on taking social media away from kids and getting maybe smartphones away from kids. So I feel like that is just one of the things that I intend to be more vocal about. People bring their kids to me. I work with teenagers. They're depressed, they're anxious, they're struggling with their social lives, and social media definitely has what I found a definite has exacerbates depression and anxiety, and also makes things worse socially. A lot of people might say, well, kids socialize on social media, and if you take away social media, if you take away their smartphones, you're going to take away their social life. I disagree. I don't think social media is helping their social lives. I think social media is severely hindering their social lives. There's no evidence that suggests that social media enables their friendships and enables a robust social life. In fact, I think the opposite is true. There's evidence that suggests that it hurts them. Social media is a very, very new thing for kids. Kids have gone centuries and centuries and centuries of making friends and having close friendships and friend groups without social media. It's nonsense to think that, if you take away social media, you're going to take away their social lives. What? No, that's not true at all. Kids are very social, and they find a way to socialize if they don't have. In fact, I think social media is holding them back. They tend to misrepresent themselves on social media. I've known a lot of kids that have lived a double life via TikTok or via social media, and they present themselves as someone that they're not. They flat out lie about who they are, where they live, what they do, how old they are, etc., etc., etc. And they can essentially live a double life. Now, what I've seen with young people too is I've had this happen. A young person will say that they're struggling with depression. And turns out, not surprisingly, that they are spending a lot of time just scrolling on their phone, whether it's TikTok or Instagram or whatever, And the more that they just sit and scroll for hours and hours and hours, the more depressed they get. And so it's funny because I gave one young person the challenge to, instead of like scrolling through your phone, do certain things to help with your do these and these and these instead. And told this person, I want you to do those things every day for a week until I see you again. And it was funny. She came back and her depression was so much better, had really improved. What was funny was she was a little bit kind of like snarky about it and angsty about it. And I was like, what gives? Oh, you feel better? What's wrong? And she goes, I didn't want that to work. I didn't want that to be the solution. And now that it is, I have to deal with the fact that that is actually the solution. And I just think that's funny because when it comes to depression, man, the solutions are not where you think you're going to find them. And so, all that being said, parents, we need to start taking the social media away from the kids, the social medias. And I think that we need to restrict apps from them. I don't think they should have Facebook, Instagram. I don't think that they should have Snapchat. I don't think that they should have TikTok, YouTube on their smartphones. I don't. There was a school in Connecticut. I saw a video on it. Vice principal there incorporated a program where the kids essentially put their phone into a bag at the beginning of the school day, and so they go all day in school without their smartphone. And once they leave, apparently they run the bag through a device that unlocks it magnetically, and they get their phone back at the end of the day. Now the results of doing this are outstanding. The kids are doing better in school. They're more engaged in their classes. They're more engaged with their homework. They're more engaged with each other. They have better social lives. They have better friend groups. Even the kids admit they have a much better social life, and they enjoy their social life more without the phone. And so really, like, we need to find a way to start taking away the phones from the kids. If your kid is struggling with anxiety and depression, is struggling to get out of the house, to be social, we got to find a way to take the phone away from them. We got to find a way to take the social media away from them, and they're going to be angry. They're going to hate you for it. In fact, sometimes it seems like kids, because I've seen parents do this, they'll take away the smartphone for a week or whatever because the kid is doing something they shouldn't. And it almost seems like the kid is withdrawing from a drug. Like the first few days, the kid is just irate and hostile and very upset. And then a couple days later, kid is active, coming out of their room, happier, more engaged, more involved, smiling, just getting out more, doing more things. And they, like, by the end of the week, they're like, it's like a different kid. I don't even recognize this kid after only 1 week, and they're reluctant to give the smartphone back. And I'm like, well, don't. Give them a flip phone. Give them something, or at least find a way to severely restrict their access to anything other than like basic phone calls and text messages, right? Like, I don't think kids should have a phone for anything other than basically those things, phone calls and text messages. And so here we are, right? It's going to be a long road. I think we need to treat social media like it's cigarettes. You know, back in the 1960s or whatever, everybody smoked and doctors would recommend their favorite brand. And it was a long haul to get the monster back into the box. But I feel like we've done a good job. Like, smoking is just seen as kind of as a bad thing now. Whereas it used to be sexy and cool, now it's not. And social media kind of seems sexy and cool, and I think we need to make it look not so sexy and cool. Anyways, I'd love to hear what you all think. Feel free to leave your comments and questions below. I enjoy responding to viewer questions and comments. So if it's one that I think will make a good video, I'm happy to respond to it. If you like my content, don't forget to subscribe. Go buy me a coffee. The link is in the description below. And stay tuned for more. I'm starting into my summer slump, so more content to come. So thanks for being here. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for your support. We'll see you next time.